Hi and Assalamualaikum. I bid to Dr. Razwan and all my friends. My name is Lisa and today I'm going to tell you about my evaluation regarding the research traditions that I have learned in MOOC. Hi and Assalamualaikum. I bid to Dr. Razwan and all my friends. My name is Lisa and today I'm going to tell you about my evaluation regarding the research traditions that I have learned in MOOC. I'm going to tell you about the advantages and the disadvantages of the research traditions. There are 9 different research traditions that stated in MOOCs, and I'm going to state which research traditions that appeals for me the most for my research project. That's it. So enjoy. Number 1. Survey research. Survey research is a way that involves asking questions to respondents in order to gain information related with certain topic. The advantages of survey research is number 1, easy way to gather opinion of a very large group. Number 2, very flexible tool. Number 3, facilitates hypothesis testing. Number 4, cost saving. And number 5, gather large and significant data. Meanwhile, the disadvantages of this research is that number 1, the respondents may lie and they may not actively engage. A survey fatigue could lead to response bias. A wrong question can lead to inaccurate data, and survey can be biased too. Now moving on to number 2, which is experimental research. This research allows the researchers to have complete control over one variable, and the other variables can be manipulated to determine the value or validity that has been proposed. The advantages of this research is that number 1, no limitation to the subject matter. Number 2, provides conclusions that are specific. Number 3, provides researchers a high level of control. And number 4, the results of experimental research can be duplicated. The disadvantages of this research is that number 1, the results are highly subjective due to the possibility of human error. Number 2, it can create situations that are not realistic. Number 3, it's time consuming and human responses in experimental research can be difficult to measure. Moving on to number 3, grounded theory. Grounded theory is a research method that will enable you to develop a theory which offers an explanation about the main concern of the population of your substantive area and how that concern is resolved or processed. The advantages of this research method is that number 1, grounded theory is better at determining what actually happens, and number 2, as a general theory, grounded theory adapts readily to studies of diverse phenomena. The disadvantages of grounded theory is that number 1, grounded theory methods tend to produce large amounts of data and it is often difficult to manage. And number 2, researchers need to be skillful in using grounded theory methods. Number 4 is action research. Action research can be defined as a disciplined process of inquiry conducted by and for those taking the action. The advantage of action research is that it may utilize any of the research methods and may involve collaboration with colleagues, clients, or professional researchers. The disadvantages of this method is that action research is much harder to write out because you probably can use a standard format to report your findings effectively, and personal over-involvement of the researcher may bias the research result. Number 5. Case studies. Case study research involves an empirical investigation of a particular contemporary phenomenon within its real-life context using multiple sources of evidence. The advantages of this tradition is that number one, case studies tend to be conducted on rare cases where large samples of similar participants are not available. Number two, within the case study, scientific experiments can be conducted. The disadvantages of this tradition is that it encourages to imitate and inspire, and case studies are generally on one person, but they are also tends to only be one experimenter collecting the data. It can lead to bias. Moving on to number 6, which is discourse analysis. Discourse analysis can be characterized as a way of approaching and thinking about a problem. The advantages of discourse analysis is that number one, it's applicable to every situation and every subject, and number two, it provides in-depth insights about the topic. Disadvantages of this tradition is that number one, it does not provide definite answers and it is time-consuming. Number 7, ethnography. Ethnography can help to investigate very complicated or critical design challenges. Researchers observe or interact with a study's participant in their real-life environment. The advantages of this tradition is number one, ethnography can help to identify and analyze unexpected issues. And number two, it can be very useful in uncovering and analyzing relevant user attitudes and emotions. The disadvantages of ethnography is that it is time-consuming and subjects may not act naturally during a short study. Number 8. Phenomenology. Phenomenology refers to a person's perception of the meaning of an event. It aims to understand people's perception, perspective, and understandings of a particular situation. The advantages of phenomenology is number one, it helps to understand people's meaning and help to adjust to new issues and ideas as they emerge. It also contributes to the development of new theories. Disadvantages of phenomenology is that number one, data gathering can take up a great deal of time and resources, and number two, the analysis and interpretation of data may be difficult. And the final one is narrative. Narrative research is a term that subsumes a group of approaches that in turn rely on the written or spoken words or visual representation of individuals. These approaches typically focus on the lives of individuals as told through their own stories. The advantages of this tradition is that it is relatively easy to get people to tell stories since most people are pleased to share a story about themselves. And in terms of gaining in-depth data, is possible because this often occurs with ease in narrated events. Disadvantages of this tradition is number one, stories can be difficult to interpret in terms of the relationship between the storytelling in the interview and the story making in the presentation of data, and participants may be faking the data. Based on the research traditions, I am favorable to do discourse analysis for my research. I will be doing a comparative study between romance novel, Pride and Prejudice, and 50 Shades trilogy. The reason why I chose discourse analysis as my research method because my research will be identifying the types of figurative language that available in the novels chosen and the contextual meaning of those figurative language. Discourse analysis is neither qualitative nor quantitative. It can be a mixed method. Relating it with my research, for the data analysis, I will be using qualitative method, while for the data documentation, I will be using quantitative method. That is all from me. Thank you for watching.